I've been doing it since the year 2000.
This was my 10th time entering this.
Last week was my 4-year anniversary of working for the duck stamp office.
Oh, that's so exciting. Everybody has the special thing that makes them shine. You gotta try it.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, more people need to know about this. I always want the mug to face out, but I'm right-handed, so this one, Hello, I'm Kira Sabin, and I got to do something I really wanted to do. I got to be a judge of the Junior Federal Duck Stamp, although I was the alternative judge, so I didn't actually get to cast any votes toward what won. I was there in case any of the other judges couldn't make it or something happened on the day. I would be the one to step in, and honestly, I could not have asked for something better because I got to document this process, and I'm so excited to share it with you.
What?
No food or drink?
I have none. I have none of that.
This is the Junior Duck Stamp. The Federal Duck Stamp started in 1934. This one didn't start until 1989. There was a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation, and then it was first recognized by the United States Congress in 1994 when the Junior Duck Stamp Conservation and Design Program Act was enacted. 1994, 20 years now, and duck stamp sales are going down. So I'll have a video about the Federal Duck Stamp, but the Junior program is for people who are 18 and under from every state or territory of the US to enter the duck stamp, and the winner gets their image printed on the Junior Duck Stamp, which people buy. It's $5, and this is purely for conservational efforts and to further fund programs that get the youth excited about the duck stamp and saving wetlands, saving wildlife, caring about this world. So it is far less known, a lot less people enter. Sometimes an art teacher will have it in their school. When I first went viral about the duck stamp, there were lots of people who said, oh my god, I remember doing this when I was little. I got honorable mention and then I totally forgot about it. I didn't realize it was an ongoing thing. I didn't realize there was a bigger competition and what it was for. Like, they just thought it was art class, but it's a big thing.
Kids who turn into adults who go on to careers in native wildlife or art because experiences in duck stamp.
Gonna have to test my memory a little bit because it was all such a blur and all so fun. So I've had a good relationship with the people of the duck stamp for a while now, but I didn't know what it would be, what would qualify someone to judge the junior competition. So I was a bit surprised when they asked me and completely honored. I sadly never did it. I would have been much more obsessed with this from an early age if I had, and I feel like I would have been much more practiced because this competition is a particular skill. It's a small painting. It's meant to reflect nature as it is, and the kids who enter this are talented. My god. And I didn't know nearly as much about the Junior Duck Stamp as I did the Federal because I didn't enter in it, and there's not a ton of information online to get a first-hand experience, and that is where I wanted to shed a little bit more light on this. So I was so happy to be asked to be a judge and for me to be able to document this process. And it wasn't what I was expecting. Did you enjoy judging the Junior Duck Stamp?
Yeah,
oh good. Do you think there's more creativity in the Junior that you find interesting?
I think they're more willing to go outside the box. I think it's very cool to see the kids just kind of paint what's on their mind.
But let's start from the beginning. I was asked, and this is a government program, so it was through them that I was able to go there. They paid for my travel. And I'm bringing Kess. And I was so thrilled when they asked me because it's gonna be in their headquarters, which is in Arlington, Virginia, Falls Church. It's where I ship my Federal painting. I had never been there, but my art has, which is weird. But that's right by my little sister who is going to school at Georgetown in DC, like a 20-minute drive away from her. So we were like, perfect. We will be able to do this amazing thing and also visit our sister who we miss a lot. So me and Kes are going to travel to be a part of this judging. Like always, we procrastinated packing, and we were using this trip as a way to help my little sister move home. She has to fly home, and she had a lot of stuff. So we rolled up 3 suitcases. Kess's small suitcase with another suitcase around it and another suitcase around that. And we were going to fill the 2 and bring them home. That's just a side quest in this journey. We used it to help our little sister. So we have an early flight. We get there at 5 a.m., bright and bushy-tailed. Not really, but sounds good.
I appreciate your patience.
Welcome to DC with the local time. It's 10:13 a.m.
It's a beautiful place. It's very walkable where we're staying. There's a ton of restaurants. We're there early, so we can't check into the hotel. So Kes and I just occupy ourselves. We go get a lobster roll because it's my favorite food and I only ever have it when I'm doing special things. So it felt appropriate, and there was one really close to us. So that's the first thing we did. And then we hang out. There was birds drinking from the so many dog bowls that they had out. It's a lovely community. Kes did some reading and I worked on the last video I posted, and then we were able to go up into our hotel, and they hook us up with a Hilton hotel. It's really nice, better than what we could probably afford. That was fun. We got unpacked, and then a friend who works in the duck stamp, Jen.
My name is Jen Wright.
And what do you do? What is your job?
I am the program assistant for the Federal Duck Stamp Office.
How did you get involved in that in the first place?
So actually, I met Suzanne in 2016. She was working by herself in this office, solely by herself, and she needed assistance. She wanted help, so eventually there ended up being an opening for the duck stamp. And since I'd helped and shadowed, I knew the program, and so that's why I applied, and I got it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And you've liked it ever since?
Loved it.
Jen came by to say hi with her dog. It was nice to be acquainted with all these people that I've talked to several times, but rarely in person. The whole trip, it was just so nice to be with people who were passionate about the same thing as me, and everyone knew more about the duck stamp than I did. I was now the outsider, where I'm usually talking to people who have no idea what it is but want to know, and I'm telling them, and I was the inexperienced one, and that was a really fun dynamic. I learned so much. We said hi to her, and then I got to officially meet Suzanne Fellows.
You're awesome. Oh, nice. Valerie, you're awesome. Thank you. My name is Suzanne Fellows. I'm the chief of the Federal Duck Stamp Office, which means that I have a variety of different things that I take care of. My favorite is working with the Junior Duck Stamp program. I'm the national coordinator for that program. Amazing.
Who has worked with the duck stamp for so many years.
It's been the last 10 years.
She's been really, really lovely to me. She made this whole thing a lot less scary and intimidating, and I can't thank her enough. We go out to eat that night with whoever is available. Suzanne, me, Kes. We go to a really nice place. Sophie was able to come down. Rob McBroom of the $1 Million Duck documentary.
And I'm going, shh.
What I love about you
Yeah.
is just how genuine and weird a person you are.
I moved away from realistic art quite a long time ago because I got into other things like French surrealism, like all kids do. And I combined a lot of my own art with those aesthetics. And so when I approached the duck stamp, it was like, why would I do it any differently than I do everything else?
I didn't know he was going to be there. I didn't know who anyone was going to be there. They keep the judges all hush-hush until we get there. So Suzanne tells me that Rob McBroom will be a judge, which I was absolutely thrilled about, to be able to spend some time with him. And then someone named Lydia Hansen, who I had never met, but she was absolutely lovely. She was wearing a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Pride shirt. Adorable. So I just felt so welcomed. And we had an absolutely lovely meal. And we got to talk about the competition, share some some news. Everyone knows more than me, so I was just soaking up all the information I could get, and it was truly a fantastic night. I was nervous about it because I'm nervous about any social interaction ever, but once I saw everyone, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. This is just gonna be great. And it was, and there were so many ways that maybe it couldn't be. I know that the duck stamp attracts a very diverse group of people, but also not a diverse group of people. It's a really weird part of the world, part of society that is involved with this duck stamp. And I just knew that there was a potential where it could be a dinner with people who are totally unlike me. And that would have been great to be able to talk to like-minded people who have very different backgrounds. But that does give me anxiety. But this was so chill and just really delightful. We're out late, we walk home because we can walk home to the hotel.
Duck dinner.
And then we have a big day in the morning. I'm horrible at waking up, but I woke up several times before I was supposed to because I was so worried about missing it. I make some coffee, I get my sisters up. I already have my outfit picked out, and it's the cutest thing ever. It's made by, you might know them, Made in the Moment. They're on like every social media. Emma. We did an art exchange a while ago and they made me this vest and I absolutely love it. And this was the perfect occasion to wear it. The junior duck stamp, that's so freaking cute. Thank you, Emma. I love it so much. So I'm all ready. All right, testing this mic to see if it works well with audio all the way over here. Hopefully, yes. All right, I'm testing the mic again because it didn't work the last time. And this time I put it in the mic slot and not the headphone slot. And hopefully it's working. We carpool with Rob McBroom to the judging. We're greeted by Jen, and it's a beautiful building. I had no idea what to expect. We had to go through security, which I did know, but forgot to tell my sisters about. That was all fine. We got a little name tag. We go back into the duck stamp judging. They have coffee and pastries available. Everyone is just so sweet and understanding. And this competition is open to the public, but it hasn't been heavily advertised because COVID made it really hard to schedule things the past couple years, and it just became a bit easier not to, but whoever did know about it did show up. But it was a really small group of people, which I thought was really lovely, especially because I don't love crowds and I didn't know how I was going to be involved in this process quite yet. I was really nervous about doing something wrong, but no, it was totally relaxed. We all knew why we were there and it was a fun event. It wasn't nearly as stressful as the federal, which makes sense, but there are rules. I got a pamphlet, I got my little rules, and I got, I'm geeking out about this. The reduction the reduction glass is like a magnifying glass, but reversed. And they use this in the federal. And if you don't know what it is and they don't tell you, it totally looks like they're just using a magnifying glass to look at details, which also makes sense. In paintings, it's good to look at details. But these are specifically made to see the painting reduced, small stamp size, so you're able to see the composition, how it would look when reproduced. Because some paintings can be absolutely amazing, but when you make them small, things get lost. It's not as easy to read. Like, that's a huge consideration in this competition. So everyone got, including me, reduction glass to look at these paintings. And my mom specifically loves them. So next time, Mom, I hope you get to see them. My duck just flew outside. I love that. And it's all hush-hush, which makes sense. The judges are not allowed to talk to each other whatsoever about their opinion of any of the paintings. The paintings are in one room. There's a conference room, but I'm able to go look at the paintings before the judging starts. They're all up on an art Velcro board thing. Usually when you see the judging happening, they're laid out on a table, but it's good to know that everyone does get a good amount of time to look at all of them in detail up close in a well-lit area on this board beforehand. And honestly, right when when I got in there, I was like, I'm so happy I'm the alternative judge. I have no idea how I could wrap my thoughts together and pick a winner out of these. They're incredible. They're incredible. And I think it was just because I was so excited about the whole thing and also thinking about how I want to document it that I just don't think I would have been a very good judge then. But I was told if you're the alternative, you get to be the real judge the following year. So I believe I will be a real judge next year, which is very exciting. And I think I'll be much more prepared to put on my critical thinking helmet, I don't know, and judge these. I didn't have a pen and paper too. I would make a lot of notes while doing it, but they don't have numbers or anything, so you just kind of have to like know what you like, pay attention to what you like, and know which ones you're gonna want to vote for. And the judging is much different with the junior than it is the federal. In the federal, there are 3 rounds, in and out votes for the first one, and then numerical votes for the second 2 rounds. I won't go in detail, but for this one, it's much more of a narrowing it down process, and people get chips, like poker chips, that are specifically for the duck stamp they're made, and oh my god, do I want one. I want one of those. I love little things. A million things on my desk. I have federal duck stamp cards that I got at the federal judging. I love like this. Oh my god, see, it's gold. Oh, I love these. So I really wanted one of those chips. Obviously, I'm not gonna get one. But the judging goes down. There are 5 judges, and each one of them gets 5 chips. And you simply put your chip on a painting that you like, that you want to advance. That is it. That's literally all you do. But a painting can't have more than 1 chip. So if someone already laid a chip on yours, you pick a different one that you like. So there were 56 entries this year, 50 states and Puerto Rico, and then some more that were selected. How we get the 50 odd paintings that will be judged is that each state has their own competition with 5 judges. And usually just one from each state is chosen as the best in show, and that one is sent to the national judging. Yeah. So like, what an honor for all of these pieces of art to be there.
We really encourage anybody who is interested in conservation to purchase a stamp. It's an easy way to contribute to conservation.
So I'm looking around the room at all these beautiful paintings. I feel underdressed. I didn't dress business casual, but I dressed hella cute, so I'm very small. I'm like, how did I end up here? I do have a bachelor's of fine arts. I have a bachelor's degree in art, so that qualifies me a bit. Okay, so we have our time where we get to look at the paintings, and then we have another job, and that's picking the motto of the year. So us judges go in the conference room and we get a sheet of paper that has mottos, slogans. Here's the stuff I got from the competition. I also got, with the reduction glass, Federal Duck Stamp, Office Presents North American Waterfowl. Got a gadwall on the front here. And then it's just a cute little booklet of all the ducks. I love this. I love this. I have a scrapbook of duck stuff, and this will definitely go in there. I'll show you my scrapbook sometime. Okay, but we got this, which is our conservation messages, which are submitted by the youth, and then we vote on which one would be that one for the year. So there are 13 messages that they narrowed it down to that we had to pick from, and they're so good, you guys. It was hard. It was hard to pick. One that really stood out to me was, yesterday we made the problem, today we see the problem, tomorrow we solve the problem. It's very hopeful. I also like, conserve our environment today, enjoy our wildlife tomorrow. Without the wetlands, our happiness dries up. And then there were good pun ones. Ignoring habitat conservation is a foul idea. Or never a better time to start conserving than the quack of dawn. I love that these come from the kids, but we all voted, and the one that we could all agree on is that conservation is our responsibility, a reflection of our past, present, and future. And that was submitted by Caitlin Garant, 16, from Nevada. I think that one spoke to the judges because our world is kind of sad right now. I mean, it is. And we've had a problem on our hands for quite a long time, and conservation is our responsibility. We're not allowed to neglect it anymore. I think we know the climate crisis at hand. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and like, even the kids know that. The kids know this. And one of the judges, Bernie Houston, spoke up about why he liked that one.
See wildlife. And that's something we could have did yesterday. We're destroying this planet. Every single second we're destroying this planet. I volunteered myself to always, no matter where I go, to bend over and pick it up. It's like tying your shoe. To take just that cord and pick up something that's not supposed to be there, discarded some kind of way. And you know, sometimes I sit and cry to see a fish wash the shore with something stuck in its gills. This is all we have, this planet. And we every single day we just destroy it. So if I could pass this on, you guys can do the same too.
And I mean, that's all that it took to convince me he's right. And I'm always an optimist. I'm an optimistic person. And I see beautiful change that people are making. And it's more opportunities like this that I believe will save this world. So after that heavy reality check, it was time to judge some ducks.
So back in late 1980s, a woman in California started this idea about we have to have the junior duck stamp artists. We have to get our kids to understand what's coming. And art is a really good way to involve students. It's something that's universal, something that we all have something artistic about ourselves.
Let me introduce the panel. So first we had Ken Richkus. He's a dad, he's a biologist, and he works for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He has a PhD from Louisiana State. I like that the judges are always diverse in occupation. They want a well-rounded group of people to look at the stamp from every aspect. So he's a biologist, he knows these ducks. He was telling us facts about some of them and how they influence the paintings, and I absolutely love that. Next was Chuck Black, who won the federal last year. I was so happy to meet him. I didn't know that he would be there, but every winner of the federal will be a judge of the junior if they can make it, and he was, and I was a bit starstruck. He's super sweet. He talked to us. He was super willing to share any tips, and he was just so kind. I loved him. He's a really passionate kind of artist, and I'm so happy he won. And then Lydia Hansen, who I went out to eat with the night prior. She's a judge. She is a park ranger for the National Wildlife Refuge. So she's hands-on. She's the one who greets people who come to visit. She's very knowledgeable about the real-life environment that we advocate to protect. And then we have Rob McBroom, who I've talked about a lot. He's from Minneapolis. He's an artist. He's been entering 23 years this duck stamp and expects to never ever win. And I love him for that. He's a super creative artist. He makes some of the most intricate pieces I've ever seen. He cares so much, and he has always had the goal of bringing more awareness to this competition. And he does it unapologetically, and I'm a huge fan of him. And then the last one is Bernie Houston, and I had not heard of, and am so happy to have now heard of. He is a 3D artist, a sculptural artist, and he collects driftwood from as many coasts as he possibly can. He's very passionate. I looked up his work. It's very cool. He collects the driftwood. It inspires him, and he paints it. A lot of birds are represented, and he actually had a gallery show the next day in DC. So a successful artist. It was very nice to meet him. And I like how much creativity was inherently in these judges. The junior is more fun in that it does get to be a bit more creative. It's absolutely amazing to see kids and teens' interpretation of this competition, of this program, and I think there's a lot more youthful spirit with these ones. So I like that the judges represent that.
Our last alternate judge is Kira Sabin. Kira is another federal duck stamp artist, and she might be familiar to you because she's the one that got us a lot of really good visual participation from a lot of the communities around the world. Starting about 3 years ago, she started posting everything that she was doing, and she has this huge following of the duck stamp program. So, Kira, thank you. We're going to go ahead and get started with the judging.
So, for the first round, they are each handed 5 chips. The paintings have been moved onto a table so they could see them and place the chip on the painting that they want. And it's a silent process. And there's not a lot of us in the room. Me, my sisters, and a handful of teachers who had students who entered the competition were present. And we all stood up and watched them walk around and pick the ones that they wanted. And I didn't know which one I was rooting for. I liked so many of them. I loved all of them. So many of them would have made a great stamp, but it had to be narrowed down. So we basically cut it in half the first round. There are 25 selected pieces of those 56, and then they take away the ones that didn't get a chip.
These are all winners. And in fact, anybody who learns something about wetlands and waterfowl and conservation, practice their art skills, those are all winners.
So then the judges sit down.
And so their job will be to bring it down to the top 15.
And now they're given four tokens, I think. It's going to go down to 1. The same process, you put your token on it. Some of them have the strategy of you put your token on the one you really want right away, or you wait to see if someone else will, so then you could bring in your second option. It was fun to watch them take their time, use the reduction glasses. It's a big process. I'm nervous to do it myself. So then down to 15, down to 10.
Thank you, judges.
Down to 5. So then we land on the top 5. So there's 1st through 5th place. And now becomes the harder part.
You're going to be given the cards, number 1 through 5, and we are going to show them individually each piece of art. We will hold up a number.
This is when it's more like the federal, and they're gonna hold each individual painting up in front of them so they can see it again. They're seated, they're gonna walk it to each one, and then they have to score it. And this will determine 5th through 1st place.
We're gonna make sure that there's a clear 1st, 2nd, 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place.
And if there's any tie, they're gonna do it again. There's not gonna be any ties. So this part was a bit nerve-wracking. I, again, picturing myself, the alternative judge, what would I do in that situation? And it's honestly so hard.
The artwork is seen by all the judges. We'll ask them to show their work.
But I suppose at that point I would maybe have a favorite. The judges in the federal, they have partitions so they can't see each other. It was funny, the judges, they basically just stared forward. They didn't want to be influenced by anyone. And I will say one of the top 5, the painting was damaged in transportation, which is always a possibility and is obviously very sad.
Fortunately, there was a nice scan that was taken of it prior to it being shipped that is in good shape, but we do want the judges to be able to see what the original was.
But I was thrilled that it was still a contestant, and it ended up making it very far. And I think there were some strong opinions. I, the whole time, wasn't thinking about what the scores. There's 2 people on the side tallying up the scores. I wasn't paying attention to which one was doing better or not.
Please vote.
So I really had no idea what would happen, the results would be, but I was thrilled with all of the options.
Yes, correct. That's what I. Entry beat.
So after 2 rounds of numerical voting, we had placements. Drum roll.
You guys did a good job. Before the actual judging of the artwork started, our judges were given the task of also picking a best of show conservation message that we will use throughout the year when the students' artwork goes on tour around the nation. The winning message is conservation is our responsibility, a reflection of our past, present, and future, and it was submitted by Wright from Nevada.
So the official score sheet, there are top 25, top 15, top 10, and then 5th through 1st. In 5th place. Okay, I'm looking up pronunciation because I'm horrible at reading, I'm horrible at names, so I'm so sorry if I say this wrong, but I am trying to say it right. So 5th place is Kaylee Leo. 15 years old from New Jersey, and she painted this beautiful king eider. This one had a nice glimmer. I love the colors of this one, the deep blue in the background. These kids are so talented, 15 years old. The reflection in the water is so nice. There's water droplets on the king eider's bill. It's a beautiful representation of the species. And then 4th place, we had Catherine Hong, who is 14 from Pennsylvania, and she painted this redhead in oil. First of all, the fact that any of these kids are using oils, that's amazing. The king eider was in acrylic, but this is a redhead in oil, and this one is very pretty and airy and beautiful. And the teacher of this student was actually present at the judging, and she was so adorable. It was amazing to talk to her, and she was seeking advice about the painting, anything that she could tell her students to help them improve, which was so cute. She wanted them to do so well, and I'm so happy this one got 4th. Again, the water, the reflection in the water is so lovely. It felt like a nice spring morning. And then 3rd place, probably one of my favorites if I were judging, I suppose.
We are going to show you the 3rd place. This is number 54.
Victoria Hickerson from South Carolina.
who is 16, and it's a wood duck in oil. And it's a female wood duck, it's a wood duck hen, and it's such an interesting crop. It's one that I would probably be too scared to make, but I love that she did this. She did a close-up, and the water droplets are absolutely amazing. The water reflective sheen on the back of her wings, so good, because their wings repel water, and that's so apparent in this painting. And it's a nice flat background. It would have looked great as a stamp with the $5 in the corner. Just beautiful work. And I love the close-up of the eye. You could see the pinky orange around it. It's just such a lovely piece. I love wood ducks in particular because my wife, they're her favorite. Also, all these girls, these women. I love how many girls entered the junior. It's not proportional in the federal, so that's another reason why I want more people to be involved in the junior and then follow up when they become 18 and older. We need more diversity. We need more girls entering it. And then second place are these pintails, which is an absolutely incredible painting, and I knew right away. I had a very educated guess as to who painted it, and I was right, and it's Madison Grimm, who is from South Dakota and is 17. And she is Adam Grimm's daughter, who is two-time federal winner. And funnily enough, this is the second time I've said funnily enough. Is that a word? Funnily.
Funnily.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a word. It is. Funnily enough, they both got second place.
Second place, Adam Grimm.
I was there at the federal, and Adam Grimm, also with pintails, got second place, and Madison Grimm, his daughter, got second place at the junior. And obviously they would have wanted to take the cake, but that to me is really cute. I'm excited for when she's entering the federal. She's going to be a big competition because this painting is insane. 17 years old. The detail. Ken Richkus really liked this one because from a biology standpoint, it's felt so natural.
This to me looks like classic Central Valley, California, with the totally cattails, mountains in the background.
The lighting is beautiful. The composition is really great. The sky to cloud gradient. Just a really talented family, but it did come in second.
And 46, it is Emily Leon from Oregon.
This is perfect.
And the winner, I don't think anyone would have pegged as this will be the winner, but everyone liked it, so it is the winner. And I'm so happy this one won because it really feels youthful and alive. Wow.
I just keep wondering what's hovering above that bird.
And that is this King Eider by Emily Leanne, who is 17 from Oregon. And this is such a fun piece. I am so happy this one won. I think it's a great representation of what the youth can see, what the youth can do.
I just love it. The clouds.
And it's such a skilled painting. Perspective, that's like a whole section of art that you have to learn. And the perspective on this one is insane. We're from below the King Eider who's looking up in the air. There's 4 King Eiders flying in the background and they're so recognizable. It's a very specific duck. It's such a unique take on it. And for someone to think of the composition, to be able to learn enough about the species to understand what it's going to look like from that angle, and then to pull off such beautiful lighting while also having such pretty and exaggerated colors in it. This is such a skilled piece of work.
A breeding display where the males will throw their head back as part of to attract mates.
It's not looking for something.
It might be looking.
It's looking for a lady.
So the painting is so deserving of first place.
It might be at the same time.
2 King Eiders in the top 5.
What is this bird?
That's a King Eider.
Okay.
It's a good year for the Eiders, giving me hope about my spectacled in the federal. And then there are different species. I didn't think about that. The federal will be a pintail and the junior will be a King Eider. And it was very close to having pintails be on both. Pintails are very popular. I'm happy that the King Eider will be represented. We all cheer. I don't think anyone knew exactly what to expect. And then they put up the paintings with their ribbons.
But I really liked that one.
I love it.
You thought this
I
one?
love it too.
I thought so. Yeah.
I thought that one was going to be
it's
first.
totally realistic. I mean,
I thought so too, but
And then we just talk to each other for a long time.
well, even the blues and the ochres together.
Yeah.
Thrilled about each other's company. The teachers asked Chuck Black for some insight.
What makes something attractive and why. Applying what I knew and from that point of view, the feather work towards like the side.
He's very forthgiving. I get to talk to him. I ask how it's been winning. As an artist, as a young artist, for your work to be taken seriously and to be put in front of a panel and to be recognized and seen, that's so rewarding. And there aren't a lot of programs like that. The arts are slowly being cut from a lot of schools.
Without your help and coaching, our students wouldn't get this opportunity. So thank you, parents. Thank you, supporters. We have several people here who have supported our junior duck stamps throughout the year, and we really appreciate it because you guys are the ones that are going to make sure that these kids have this opportunity. So thank you.
My little sister Sophie, she didn't get art after middle school. Me and Kes didn't get music class. Like, arts are usually the first to go. And I knew I was going to be an artist from day one. First time they asked. And I said that throughout all of school. And I was always greeted with, okay, but what's your backup plan? And I said, I don't have one. This is it. And you need to tell me what classes I need to take in order to achieve that. And I did. But to tell kids that that's not a possibility and to cut those programs, it's killing the creativity of being youthful. And I think it's really important. So to get kids excited about this specific program, because there's really none other like it, I believe is a responsibility.
You will never know unless you try it. And even if you're not an artist, you are able to be expressive and creative and use that other side of your brain, explore things in a different way. So I think art and trying to view different topics in different ways is so important, no matter who you are.
With the junior contest, I really like knowing that they are our next generation in conservation. They learned all about this, learned about how important waterfowl is, and used their creativity to show that.
I never entered the junior duck stamp because I felt like I didn't have, like we all are critics of our own work. I never thought that my artwork would stand up to the top entries. It was definitely something that was a lot less intimidating once I participated in, and then you realize there's a lot of benefit in just putting yourself out there and participating. You learn a lot more by actually getting involved. If artwork is something that you really know that you value yourself, the act of getting involved, I think helps you get to where you want to be as an artist faster.
They're all great.
It's so hard.
And then they have a nice lunch for us. They got bread from Best Buns or something like that. And we had build your own sandwiches, and we ate in the conference room with all of each other. We're a bit introverted people. We're passionate, introverted, dorky people who all care about this one thing and like to approach it from an artistic perspective. And that's very evident. It feels like that. It's a diverse group of people all having lunch from different states, wanting to spread appreciation for the students who entered in this competition and what that means, what their work will do. It definitely feels important. While we were picking the conservation message, I just remember being in that room and anticipating me telling Jen and Suzanne that this had been one of the best experiences that I've ever had. And I got a little choked up thinking about it. I didn't make that known at all, but it felt like I could be a part of something that was really doing something important. And it's not often that you get that feeling. I just didn't think there was something that existed that could be so, one, specific to me, and two, to me, such an effortless way to care. Buying a duck stamp only has a benefit, and today there aren't that many things that only have a benefit. When you're out in a consumer world, you're constantly thinking about, where did this come from? Am I supporting something ethical? It's hard to know what things are genuine. And with the duck stamp, it was just so clear that they use the money for good. And what a fun event. And I think particularly with the Junior Duck Stamp, there was hope and there was life in this work. And it meant that these kids studied these ducks, they got out in the world, they found something that they were interested in, and it's really evident in their work. I particularly liked the hens, the babies, the chicks, the side-swept mergansers. There were good mergansers, there was pointillism, there was many different types of art. And I got to interview Rob and Suzanne and Jen and Chuck to see different perspectives on the competition. It's a lot of work that these people do, and it's always at risk of not being supported, but it seems like such an easy thing to support. Such an easy thing to advocate for. We can buy this little stamp, become a little stamp collector. It's fun, I promise, and know that you've directly impacted the world. It was a long day at that point. Not really, it just felt like it. It was big social interaction. And we went home. I was so happy. We walked back, we carpooled back to the hotel, say goodbye to people. A lot of people had to do something right after that. Busy people. And we're just in the elevator. Me and my sisters were like, what is our life? What is this? This is so funny. This is so funny and so cool. And we just get a decompress at our hotel. Rob texts us, seeing if we want to go out for ice cream later. Of course we do. So we get ice cream and we hang out and we talk. It's nice to see his perspective on how he's been involved. He's a funny guy. He's great. We have one extra day there. Most people go out the next day, but we have a full day there and we spend it with our little sister. We have fun. We go to her apartment. We pack up her clothes to take home. She lives in DC. That's so weird. I could never live there, but it was really fun to visit. We have a fancy, for us, dinner. It was really nice. I love doing things with people you love somewhere else. No matter what it is, it's an experience and I enjoy it. The next morning we have some breakfast. We went on a walk. Truly such a nice little area. It's an afternoon flight. We say our goodbyes. I'm editing the video I made before this in the airport, and someone comes up to us who knows Kes and I and just says they're a big fan of our work. And that's so weird in the airport. Someone knows who I am. It was so nice to meet them. It's so weird. It's so weird. I'm so happy that more people care about this thing that I love, these ducks. And by extension, every other animal that lives in the wetlands. It's not just ducks and geese and swans. It's frogs and turtles and birds and fish and deer, bugs and insects and butterflies. And it's beautiful. On the trip, my little sister said, struggled with mental health a lot and just go on a walk. You don't wanna go on a walk, but you go on a walk, you get as close to nature as you possibly can, and suddenly the world is a little bit brighter. And I think that's always true. I've always loved that animals are living, coexisting with us and leading their own life, totally unburdened by capitalism and what to wear that day or what people are gonna think of them. They just live their life, and it's so beautiful. And I cannot thank Suzanne and anyone else who was a part of me being able to go on this process. I appreciate it so much, and now I'm so happy to share it with you guys. And I want to make it so easy for you to buy a duck stamp and to care about this and to maybe enter or tell your kids about it and have your kids enter because it's so freaking cool. It's so cool. It's dorky, but it's so cool. And it was definitely one of the best experiences. And I do think it's just the beginning for me. And I'm very excited to enter the federal. I'm very excited. I get so excited when anyone on TikTok is like, oh, that was my entry. Or my little 4-year-old is so excited about having art that will one day mean something. And there's classrooms, teachers who follow me, who tell their students about it. And I just really can't believe it. I'm so excited for what's to come. Go buy a duck stamp. I'll have the links. You know it. If you want to stick around, I have the video on how I became involved in this in the first place, how that happened, and I have more duck stamp related content to come out soon. I'll tell you everything I know about this competition. I will. And hopefully you'll be as excited as I am. I got something very similar to the chips. I absolutely love it. And then the last question is, do you have a favorite duck species?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
my favorite one is
I think I have to say the pintail.
The pintail. Okay, so I think pintails are very graceful.
I love hooded mergansers.
Yes.
I love ruddy ducks, specifically because that blue, it's like a nice Carolina blue.
My favorite was the cinnamon teal. When I first moved out west, I started seeing cinnamon teal for the first time, and they're just not only like the look of them, the character that they have.
I love some of the sea ducks. I mean, king eiders are awesome. Harlequins and old squaw, watching them, the behavior of the ducks.
Wooded merganser. I like the crest. The hens have like little brushy feathers, and then the males have a crest that goes.
Waders are really cool. Pintails, I guess, is everyone's favorite.
But to be honest, my favorite is probably the gadwall. You know, this brown duck that people don't really pay a lot of attention to. He's kind of, I mean, he's showy. Once you get looking at him, they're really cool. But then so are buffleheads or redheads.